online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM. BBC Radio 2. Russell Brand.
London tonight. You're listening to Radio 2. This is Russell Brand. That was The Doors. Touch Me, Baby. And that end bit does sound a bit like the regional news programme. London Tonight's opening theme tune. It's on another network, innit? So we probably shouldn't talk about it, should we, Matt?
No.
Normally the news they broadcast on there is filthy lies. I watched it yesterday and they said we were being invaded by squid people. I can't imagine how they're going to cope on land, those squid idiots. Don't trust London Tonight. So, what a show it's going to be. Do you think, Matt?
It's going to be brilliant, isn't it?
Matt Morgan, you're in charge of those buttons there. We're in the
Look at my buttons!
All right, I'm not acquisitively looking at them. I'm not covetously looking at them. We're in the Kent Bruce studio today, not the Wogan studio. Often we're in the Wogan studio.
It's all the same to me, mate.
Don't make a difference. All the same buttons.
Unless you're in Manchester and they're made of Lego.
Oh yeah, up in Manchester, there literally is Lego. This is not an attack on Manchester, a region that we have a great deal of respect and love for, but the buttons up there in the BBC studio, one of them's held down by a bit of Lego, isn't it? Why would they do that? Why are they making it out of Lego for? We've got our fish now, Christoph, he's in the studio. He was rescued from the jaws of death. I don't want to draw comparisons between myself and the great Oscar Schindler and his rescue. Listen, I'm saying I don't wanna. But that fish was going to be killed by a woman called Deborah. Then young Mr. Nibbs, the valet manservant of the show, valiantly went up to Brum and rescued him from that Deborah woman, who gave over Mr. Nibbs. He gave Mr. Nibbs, Christoph, the fish, in a dog poo bag.
But that is just a bag that would have been used for dog food. It wasn't.
Well, all right. Well, it was that mentality. All right, guy, I hear ya. But then what about dog's chocolate, then? Is that just chocolate that ends up in a dog's mouth, or is it a special kind of more powdery chocolate?
Doesn't taste like chocolate, does it?
Doesn't it? Don't try and put an interrogative tone on the end of that, as if you haven't spent your whole ridiculous life in Dartford scoffing dog's chocolate nervously in a closet.
Dogs don't care about chocolate.
No, they don't. Do you know what else I found out about the other day? Gerbil chocolate. There's gerbil chocolate now. That's
that
getting out
must
of
be
control.
tiny little bars.
Tiny little bars. Here's a controversial thing to say that I'll say now. I heard, and it's unsubstantiated, in fact insubstantiated, that Milky the Milky Bar kid is strong and tough, and all the best is good enough. You know that little punk?
Yeah.
I met one of them anyway. Right, he was older now. He was. I tell you what, he weren't whiter than white no more. Way he carried on, way he was living his life. But anyway,
how did he introduce himself? I used to be a Milky Bar kid.
Yeah, he just goes, all right. He goes, you might recognise this. The Milky Bars are on me. Then pointed up at his face.
Was he very blonde?
He was. No, even his blondness had faded in this much the same way as his
Doctor Who's? Because every 2 years they changed it, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. They don't take much risks with them Milky Bar kids, do they? They're always like little Aryan kids. I'd like to see.
Why don't they? Have they still got
them now? Have a black Milky Bar kid. Why not? But like, hold on, but how is he gonna be associated with Milky Bars if he's a black lad?
Bleach his hair.
Bleach his hair! It's simple as that, like Middlesbrough's defender Xavier. Yeah, he could bleach his hair. He'd look good like that. Or that Cisse at Liverpool used to have done. Right, okay, but that's not my point. My point is, right, you know how Milky Bars are packaged with a bit of tin foil?
No,
right?
They're not anymore.
They are again, because they started packaging them in plastic, in pure plastic, normal chocolate bar wrappers. Sales dramatically fell.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Kit Kat did the same, didn't they? They used to be. Remember that nice feeling of going shh along the foil?
Yeah, you can't do it. Do you know why? And people suspect that the sales were dramatically affected because drug users would buy a cheap 25p Milky Bar and use that bit of tin foil for drug use. So all I'm saying is, the Milky Bars are on me, should normally be muttered by a hunched junkie sat in a doorway.
But isn't that foil too thin to burn on?
Matt Morgan there reveals at last, not if you double it over. True colours. Never do any drugs at all, ever. I don't know, just don't, because it's against the law, isn't it? So just don't do them. But I've took some awful business. I literally have no drugs at all these days. Right, it's going to be a hell of a show. Later on, we might or might not bother to ring up Noel Gallagher. He was very funny on the last show, wasn't he, Matt?
He was brilliant.
Drunk. Really drunk. He was really drunk. And after the show, I spoke to him. He goes, "Oh, could you like Sarah says I should take out that bit about like saying I want to write for the Daily Mail because it might make me look bad, right?" But also in that thing, he goes, "Let's execute everyone," boasting about how hard he was. So my favourite bit was there's a really funny bit in our show where he goes like when Noel Gallagher turns away because we'd said that thing like that disputable point about Liam Gallagher's thumbs and like diminutive yet elegant, beautiful hands, and there's a bit where like we'd explained to Noel the nature of our view on that subject, and Noel turns to Sarah McDonald, his girlfriend, and goes, Sarah, Russell's saying Liam's got thumbs like cashew nuts, has he?" That's really lovely to hear that sentence spoken by someone else.
If that gets in the papers, that's going to make people think that's just an insane story.
Yeah, I know, look weird
Russell
written
Brand.
down. Brand.
Randy Weirdo Brand claims Liam's hands are like cashew nuts.
It'll look really good written down, won't it? Sometimes them things look odd. So we'll give him a ring a bit later. Now, we are trying to reconcile Richard Hillgrove, showbiz agent to Steven Seagal, once of Chris Eubank and formerly of Duncan Bannatyne. And the reason that it's formerly with Duncan Bannatyne is because we caused a rift on this very show a couple of weeks ago when Seagal was on. Now, last week we left a series of messages for Duncan Bannatyne, one taunting him for hurling a ship's captain into the water when he himself was a sailor, another asking him to get back with Richard Hillgrove, and Noel Gallagher left him a message. Today we are going to speak to Duncan Bannatyne and really push for a reconciliation between him and his literal cowboy, PR man, agent Richard Hillgrove.
Are we actually going to speak to him, or is this just one of your...
What, vain, idle, empty boasts?
Is this going to happen?
Well, apparently the people that produce our radio show, Matt, if you just look through that glass window at that collection of giddy idiots who I'm surprised aren't clamping their lips to that window or rubbing their breasts like Midnight Express, them lot in there, they've said that we can talk to Duncan Bannatyne. So hopefully we'll be talking to Bannatyne, achieving reconciliation. Also, Mr. Nibs, our little valet, he is in the show. So what we want, because Mr. Nibs bought us our little fish, Christoph, he looks fit as a fiddle. I don't know why that woman Deborah up in Birmingham wanted to kill him. He looks alright. Have you seen him, Matt? Swimming around, he's fine.
See him, but for the leaves.
I know, there's too many leaves in that fishbowl. Apparently everyone's talking about it. Parky, Wogan, O'Leary, all them lot have been, like, commenting on our fish and that. I want to know what they've been saying. They're not coating him off, are they?
No, well, they would have poured something in the water or done something bad, wouldn't they, if they were against him?
I reckon Wogan uses it as a trough for his nuts. I reckon Wogan hovers above that fishbowl and, like, just uses it as a little nut trough to cool him down.
Cools off his piles, innit?
He's not got piles.
Maybe he has.
I suppose so. Let's not judge people with piles. Who cares? Right. So yeah, we want a friend for Christoph. Send us more fish for Christoph. Little mates. Matt said, let's fill that bowl till it's bulging. The lunatic. We won't do that.
No, but I think with fish, like, say someone gives us like, some fish might fight each other. That's what I'm trying to say.
Might they? We do want that. I don't want that.
It might be quite interesting.
We don't want it though, but it's a shame, innit, something like dog fighting, because you think on one level that'll be entertaining, but on another level, poor bloody dogs. Dog fighting's rightly banned and illegal. Right, let's listen to, what should we listen to now? So over the course of the show, we're going to reconcile Bannatyne and Hillgrove. We'll talk to Noel Gallagher. We'll try and ring some other people out of the phone, and...
Oh, there's an exciting news about on my Vibro sock.
Exciting news on your Vibro sock. Last 2 weeks ago, Matt claimed to come up with an invention. It was just a lot of mind muck as far as I could work out. He said, wouldn't it be good to have a sock that you could put a mobile phone in that could wake you up if you were a nurse? Right,
yes,
rubbish.
By the vibration, not the sound.
Right, so it doesn't wake up your nurse partner.
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, you want to talk to Bannatyne about that, don't you?
Well, I wouldn't mind, but someone's actually made one, so...
Really?
I've had some
Well, you've got a
feedback.
physical one here?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it.
So, yeah.
Right, so this is the Vibro sock invented by Matt. I'll just describe it to you. Someone actually, an inventor, invented it for you.
Well, no, I invented it.
Alright, it's just some socks!
Oh, yeah. I haven't looked in that.
You idiot! What's it's not got any qualities?
Hang on a minute.
Hold on, Mr. Nibs is saying there's a pouch on his side. Right, it's not
Yeah,
bad. It has got a pouch. Yeah, but it'd just be a vague vibration on your ankle. Yeah, if it's an invention you're after, lads, feast your eyes on these beauties. My gay pants.
They don't look good, mate.
What? I like
And
it.
do you know what? Why is it? You know, it says what's that say?
Man store. I like
Man
it.
store.
Makes
It
you...
looks like man's tour.
Man's tour.
On your genitals. Pack them back in the front of your knickers.
I like it. Well, I've got these pants that scoop all your nuts and winkle right forward. Makes them look like they're about to do a burglary. They're made of really, really thin tights material.
What? Are they the ones you've had for ages?
Yeah, I found them because I'm moving house and I'm going off to Hawaii to do me film.
He's coming here with a right load of jumble trying to palm it off onto me.
We'll talk about your gifts, you ungracious man, in a matter of moments. What are we going to listen to now, Matthew?
Elvis Presley, the king.
Oh, let's listen to this little guy from Memphis. Truck driver, you say? Okay, what have we got to sort out? We've got a lot of things to contend with. Bannatyne's got to be reunited with Richard Hillgrove. Noel Gallagher's got to confront some of his Mosley-esque right-wing views. All that coming up. But first of all, we've got some woman on the phone. What is it? Oh, yeah, she's going to help us with our goldfish. Now, we had a distraught goldfish brought all the way down from the Midlands by Mr. Nibbs, our sort of servant. We're going to think of some other things for you to do, young man. All right? Because we've got this 18-year-old lad. We might as well make use of him.
Pointing your finger at. So we're going to think some other things, you young man. My garden. I'm just surprised to get round your house to do your packing.
Yeah! Come round and do my packing, you little layabout. What's he contributed to this show? Next to naught.
A fish.
And Matthew, I've bought you out of what I can only describe as incredible kindness. All my.
I'm wearing the leather jacket you gave me.
I've cleaned out my cupboards because I'm moving house and that. Bought him a lovely leather jacket, some nice t-shirts. You should have seen him going through them, discarding them like they were Pop Idol
He gave me a t-shirt.
Oh no, this'll never do. Dreary, dreary, dreary.
Well, half of them have got. One's got an H-bomb, a nuclear bomb, and it's saying H-bomb.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear that.
Is that
Hello,
ironic?
guys, the bomb's arrived. What's that? I mean, I'm very grateful.
Okay.
One of them, and I don't know what this is in aid of, and why.
Yeah.
It's covered in old ladies' white pubic hair.
That is not pubic hair.
What is that? Cat hair?
Might be.
I'm allergic to cats.
It
Why
might
do
be.
you do it?
Do
What
you-
is that?
Do you remember? I think it's probably some sort of animal hair, I expect, but I can't imagine from where. Because,
Rats, those white rats.
Oh, yeah, those white rats. Christ, they deserved better, didn't they?
Were these t-shirts their bedding or something?
No, they've not been. I didn't drag them out the back of a rodent cage.
Look at this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being ungrateful.
Yeah.
But
That's a nice T-shirt.
Jimmy
got you.
Somerville would say, "Oh no, I better not wear that. It's a camp."
I don't want to give people the wrong impression. Hey, yeah, I thought they were very pleasant gifts. Do you remember, I've told you that as a younger man I developed a sort of a fixation with Vanilla Ice. I thought, I'll tell you how I can look more like Vanilla Ice.
God, with dog hair.
Yeah, some dog hair. I cut a lock of blonde dog's hair off a dog. And just
Your dog?
sprayed it. No, it's like one of my dad's girlfriends. She had this sort of a lap dog type dog. Cut a lock of blonde hair off it. Just inserted that in the front of my own hair. Problem solved. So any of you keen to emulate either Vanilla Ice or indeed Dickie Davis, simply shear a dog and spray that dog's hair into your own hair. We've got someone on the phone now who's going to help us with a fish. She claims to be called Kerry. Thus far, we've not got a shred of evidence to support that that's her real name. Kerry, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you all right, dear?
Yes, I'm fine.
You sound to me like you are on tenterhooks. What's going on in your life that's making you on edge?
Maybe something to do with speaking to you, Russell.
Right, that will put people on edge. Now, you know we've got one fish, Christoph. He's undergone a great deal of stress. Recently, his wife died, and he's been swimming sort of sideways. He's doing one of those, I don't wish to be overly scatological, Matt, but
Yeah, I
look
see it
at the
coming
fish.
out. Don't say it.
He's got a little chain out of the back of him. He's got a streamer like he's a one fish little wedding car. He's got a streamer coming out the back of him. Now, have you got some way of helping him?
Yes.
What is it, Kerry?
Well, my brother breeds tropical fish,
Sexy.
which is a very strange little thing that he does.
As a hobby?
Yes.
I've always been interested in this. Now, because a fish lays its eggs, don't he, on the seabed, then another fish comes along and just...
Eats them.
Eats them? Well, how
Yeah.
did the babies ever happen?
Well, you have to stop the other fish from eating them.
Christ, nature's cruel, isn't it, Matt? Nature's cruel and harsh. It's a miracle that we've evolved as far as we have. One fish lays the eggs, then another one just comes along and eats it before a male fish can come and ejaculate on it, fertilising those
That's
eggs.
not how it works.
Is it like that?
I have absolutely no idea, but maybe.
I think it is. I think it is. I saw a programme.
It's a nice thing to
Yeah,
think
it was
about.
Heidi High, but I was able to work out from what Ted was saying. Spike, dress up as a carrot, Spike. Ejaculate on the eggs, you mean, Ted? And why wouldn't you? And then 3 yellow coats driving me to distraction every Sunday, then 3 women.
Oh, Ruth Maddox.
You like to... Oh, hello.
Hello, campers.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, she had repressed sexual
Sexy,
energy.
They had those little mini skirts on.
Yeah, they did. I like the way all of them dressed. They were a kinky, sexy old bunch. Now, hold on, just about the cruel indifference of nature, right, I had these gerbils, Barney it was called, that was the first one. Barney begat about 8 gerbils, and then they themselves begat gerbils. Pretty soon I was
Don't
the
say
head...
begat.
I will say begat, it says it in the Bible, don't it? I was
Yeah,
their
but-
god.
What was it called again, this gerbil?
Barney was the first one.
Doesn't go together.
What do you mean, Barney and begat?
Methuselah, isn't it?
All right then, I'll call it Joshua or something. Joshua begat
Job.
and Pepe and snip. Anyway, they had sort of the first generation of babies were quite well behaved, right? But listen, as they tumbled through the generations, there was a fierce rivalry sprang up, say like in Dallas, and like one day I woke up and one of the gerbil dynasties had the baby of another gerbil dynasty clutched in its paws like a rugby ball and was just eating it like it was a pineapple.
That's generally what happens with the fish eggs.
Just gnawing into it. Nature is
That's not how
cold.
you eat a pineapple.
I don't know, but I mean, proportionately, imagine we were
Yeah,
eating a
yeah.
pineapple. That was like the proportion of it, just gnawing into its head.
How do you know they were in 2 different dynasties?
Because, like, I see that one have 8 babies or something, and then, like, you know, I go, thought, right, you lot, stay away, she's got to nourish and nurture them. Next morning I woke up, they were eating them.
Oh, God.
But that's nature's way, Matt, and there's no way of disputing it. So if, like, we were to say, get tired of Mr. Nibs, to start to boot him to death, you know, it would just be nature's way. So in a way, it's not surprising that there's crime and violence in the world. It's surprising that there's not more when we're driven by such base impulses. I'm not suggesting that we are gerbils or fish eating up fish eggs, but we are a bit like them. Now, can we have so go on then, your brother breeds tropical fish then, Kerry?
Yeah.
How's that help us?
Well, because then we
Christoph's
can
not
make,
tropical.
we can find out what Christoph wants, what sort of girlfriend he wants, and we could breed one to be exactly like that, and then he'd be really happy.
Genetically engineer him, like sort of weird science for fish.
Yeah, it could work.
Sort of an aquatic. I reckon if I know Christoph, and I do, he's gonna want a sexy little fish with dirty, great fish knockers, really loose ethics, like no real understanding of right and wrong. Get in there. Well, I think it's just a humble goldfish because he's just in a bowl. We haven't got any. We're not heating it or anything, are we?
Let's try and get a fish that looks just like his wife, because his memory won't be too good.
And he'll just think she's come back from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
All right.
No, not from beyond the grave, just from down the shops. Or something.
That's to him is as abstract as a grave mat. The concept of death and a shop to a fish are both as mysterious and fantastic as each other, I would imagine, in the mind of a fish, if we could dare to dream. Kerry, what I reckon we want is just a regular goldfish, but that's a bit of a slag. So if you can send us one of them, just get
one
a normal.
from the fair.
Get one from the fair, yeah,
In
like
a bag,
some,
carry bag.
No, you don't
hardcore
want
little
from the fair.
cow.
They die quickly.
Do they? Why? Because they've had hard lives.
I don't know, yeah. Because they live in a plastic bag
All
and
right,
they die.
all right, fair enough.
Nice
Well,
fish.
look, Christoph travelled down here in a dog muck sack, and he's fit as a fiddle. What I suggest, get one off your brother, the tropical fish breeder, then sort of just draw a sort of bikini on it with Tipex, and then send it to us. So they just, it'll be a right saucy little bleeder.
Why has
Do you
Christoph
want it
only
to have
got...
lipstick as well?
Yeah, I would like one with lipstick, like out of Tom and Jerry. Yeah, that would be nice. But actually, I'm thinking about it. I don't want you to do anything harmful because we love animals, don't we? So just get us a normal fish. It'll be great to have it. How are you going to get it here? Where do you live?
In Dorset.
That's far. Nibs, Mr. Nibs, you're going on a trip to Dorset. Will you keep us in touch, please, Kerry?
Yeah.
He went, oh, Mr. Nibs, he's all 18, he don't know about life yet, he's just all just beaming, he may not have even had it off or anything, or probably experienced real loss. But over the next few weeks, we're going to inflict both of those things on him in the death, sex, Nietzschean showdown that we're constructing for him. Right, so yeah, Mr. Nibs will come and get a fish, but make sure your brother has got the perfect fish for him. Could you send us some photos right away, please, of the types of fish that we can hope to expect?
Okay.
Kerry, thank you for your call, darling.
Okay.
You've been extremely helpful.
Well, I try.
You've done very well. Don't sound so downbeat. Goodbye, darling. There she goes, old Kerry. what are you chuckling at?
She seemed a bit moody at the end.
She did. Well, I don't know how we could have helped.
You stop
Kerry.
doing that because you can hear it on the microphone. You're getting away with it. It's the same loudness as someone sneezing.
Oh yeah. All right. Achoo! Yeah, I suppose so. All right.
Why is
what?
Mr. Nibs, why has Christoph only got half a bowl full of water?
Yeah, I thought that. I think probably because the bowl would be too heavy if they were to fill it any more. And imagine Wogan sat doing his show with his shirt off, suddenly loses his temper, goes, I want Christoph out! Just barges across the room, picks him up and leaves it out of a window.
I'd like to see Wogan fishing in that little bowl with a pen and an improvised little rod with a paperclip on the end.
Come here. Like a lovely little gnome. Oh, dear old Wogan, sipping a can of Tennant's, drinking himself silly. I like Wogan, do you?
Yes.
I never really recovered from seeing him all
him.
muscly. I've looked up to him as well. I looked up to him when he was on 3 times a week on the telly. I look up to him now, he's on every morning.
Eurovision's always funny.
Always funny. We can't criticise Wogan. Right, should we listen to a record, Matthew?
Yes.
Let's listen to a record, and then, right, we've already got, listen, the show's been going a matter of minutes. We've got Christoph, a bride, coming. And do you think Christoph's going to die? Because I've got some barrier in me preventing me getting too attached to him.
Yeah, well, when I look at him, he does do a lot of sideways swimming.
Does he?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to examine him during this. What are we going to listen to, mate?
Rocket Man?
Why not? Because he was 60 recently, wasn't he, Elton John?
Was he?
Think so, mate. He's celebrating something.
She packed my bags last night, pre-flight.
Rocket Man! Elton John! Russell Brand, Radio 2. I regret wearing these pants now.
I bet you do.
They're making me uncomfortable inside. Now, that fish ain't been fed, so we better do something about it, 'cause I don't think he looks at all well. We ain't got no fish food here.
What are those leaves, though? Maybe that's a food
That
leaf.
is the synthetic leaf. That's not doing him any favours, unless it provides the concept of shelter for Christoph, which I can't imagine he particularly requires. Mr. Nibs, round the corner on Great Portland Street, there is an aquarium shop. Go round there, please. Get Christoph some nosh and bring back the person that works there if they're prepared to do that, which they might be. They might not be. We're only round the corner. And, yeah, just get them round here for some advice.
Bring back an expert.
Bring an expert to us, please, Mr. Nibs. If you can't bring the expert, have a phone and get the expert on the phone, ring up Mikey, if he's not busy on the phone with one of his, I believe he calls them bitches. That's the way he carries on, that's the way he lives his life. OK then, Mr. Nibs.
Okay, I remember,
Get out, Mr. Nibs! You've been given your instructions! Don't dilly-dally! It will not do! There he goes, look. Oh, I've got a head full of dreams.
Oh.
And he's sweet, really, bless him. Let's never let him know we like him.
Even when I was on the bottom rung of my career ladder.
I know, I remember it. You was a runner. You was an intern when I met you. Didn't even have a proper job.
Still begrudge doing any little move.
You were always lazy. Always
Not always
been a lazy
What about
thing.
when I made those sock puppets for you?
That was good, well done. Yeah, they were great. Those was one good sock, one bad sock. What do we call? I was Stacey Sawyer, paranoia lawyer. We went up to drugged up people at festivals with a camera. I stood behind. No, you stood behind them with a sock on each hand.
I knelt in the mud
Yeah.
with a sock on each hand, and Russell tapped me on the left shoulder for the left puppet and the right shoulder right puppet. He did both the
I go,
voices.
I'm Stacey Sawyer, paranoia lawyer. Look, you've got good and evil haunting you. Hey, you're gonna get mugged by some skinheads. And then, oh, I think you're gonna have a nice day. People were frightened by that, weren't
Yeah,
they?
they were on a lot of drugs.
That shows you the absolute horrors that drugs can bring about. So, right, Christoph looks like he's all right, and you're right. We've been talking about trying to reunite Bannatyne with Richard Hillgrove. He's PR man. Look at this from Gary from York. He goes, I believe this cowboy PR man is actually really good at his job, and that he's not in reality being sacked. In fact, this whole thing is actually a PR stunt. Probably even this email. Think about it, Gary from York.
Oh my God, we're being manipulated.
Mind-bending. Richard Hillgrove, former PR man to Bannatyne, actual PR man to Seagal, is on the line, isn't he? Are you there, Richard?
Hello, Russell.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Hear the show, did you? The last show we did?
I certainly did.
Do you think that we are any closer to reuniting you and Bannatyne?
I think we're moments away.
Yeah, because we've got his number right now, and apparently he's prepared to let us ring him up. He's bound to be flattered that we bothered to ring 3 times yesterday. The first time to do that Pat O'Bannon song, second time to pretend to be the ghostly voice from beyond the grave of a sea captain that he shoved in a drink, and the third time Noel Gallagher singing a bit of a Proclaimers lick down the phone. If that doesn't bring him back, as you said yourself, I don't know what will. Richard, do you promise to endeavour to look after Bannatyne a bit better and protect him from ridicule if you get him back?
Totally, absolutely.
Right, okay, because, like, what we're going to do, we'll talk to him, then we'll get you back on the line. Alright?
Lovely.
Why you sound a bit downbeat? What's the matter with you?
No, I'm just in a country pub, that's all.
Don't try and lift your
much
voice an
happening here,
octave
really.
and think you can trick us. We're not idiots. I'm just in a country pub, that's all. What are you doing in a country pub? Drinking yourself to death because you've squandered all your clients?
Trying to relax.
Oh, yeah. What are you wearing?
Could you have to hold the phone up to the studio so I can listen to the rest of the show? I'm not with the vibe, that's the problem.
You're not with the vibe.
right.
Oh, that's difficult. What have you got on, darling?
Russell, Phil
What?
Salon says hello.
Who? Philip Salon?
He does.
Philip, you're with Philip Salon. Philip Salon, vital member of the sort of 80s pop gay movement, friend to Boy George, character in the musical Taboo. Philip Salon, what are you doing with Philip Salon?
Well, you spent a lot of time with him once, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. He's a lovely bloke. What are you doing with him?
So he gave you these
We're doing a
t-shirts?
few little bits and pieces here and there.
Really? What are you looking
Right,
after
don't
him?
worry, he's not going to sack me, don't worry.
Well, I'm sure he will by the end of this
If he does, I'll
broadcast.
give you a call.
Let's see if you can ruin his career as well. Things have been going quite well for Philip Salon. Okay, what's he doing? Pass me over to him.
No, he's not here at the moment.
What all these lies? Get a grip. You're the worst PR man I've ever encountered. There's no way that this could be a Machiavellian scheme to get Bannatyne more publicity. You've not got it in your Hillgrove. Right, we're going to talk to Bannatyne in a minute. So then we're going to get you to talk to him, all right? So don't nose it up, Richard, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard such indifference.
Nonsense.
See you later, Richard.
Here, Russell.
He is.
You used to hang around with Philip Salon all the time.
Yeah, I liked him. He's friends with, like, Matt Lucas. He's, like, sort of a gay fella. He, like, has his hair greased back all the time, wears all nice clothes. He was friends with, like, Malcolm McLaren and
I know,
Vivian Westwood and all
All
that
the
punk stuff.
all the old punk photos, he's in all of them.
Yeah, he was friends with John Lydon and all them lot. He sort of talks about them, or tells you sort of camp stories about the Sex
You went for a
Pistols.
period of just hanging around with 80s superstars, didn't you?
Do you remember that time, Matt, when I was at a party, right? I went to this party, it was interesting. I got there, I'll tell you who was there. Christopher Biggins, Lionel Blair. Right, that bloke who used to do Crystal Maze was there.
Richard O'Brien.
What? Yeah, Richard O'Brien. One of them women out of Hello Hello, not the one that I'm madly in love with, Vicky Michelle. Oh, Vicky Michelle. Will we ever
crap
recover?
sexuality.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, and Heidi Hi.
Yeah. Hello, I don't mind if I do. Boing! Yeah, we're really unreconstructed. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? That, until his face, well, no, just when Gordon's K's face sort of...
He had a car crash. No, actually, the hurricane.
The hurricane done it.
Head.
A tree hit him on the head.
So hang on, why did that put you off the show?
Because I was against
looking at Vicky
hurricane.
Michelle, mate.
Rene's
got a dent on his bumps. I just can't get...
I'm sorry, I can't. I'm no longer turned on by this. I can't take it seriously. Hold me, Rene. Embrace me, Rene. Fill your head in with blue tack, Rene, and paint over it. Oh, no! I loved Gordon Kay. That's just a joke. He wouldn't have minded.
Isn't he?
I think he might be dead now. So, yeah, them hurricanes. Do you remember them, Matthew?
Let's change the subject. Philip Salon, you're at a party with Christopher
All right.
Biggins.
Oh, yeah, I was at a party. Like,
hurricanes are bad, aren't they? Like, winds go really fast.
Yeah, what about the Bob Dylan song, The Hurricane? It's a bad boxer. Right, all right, so I'm at this party. Biggins is there. Blair's there. Him off Crystal Maze is there. One out of Hello Hello.
Blair, because Lionel Blair isn't the first person you think of now.
Yep, Lionel Blair. The Big Blair, we call him. Growl, it's the Big Brown Blair. That's right, Lionel Blair. Yeah, and I was rang up someone and go, I'm at this party, it's really freaking me out. Everyone here's from the 80s. I was saying it in the corridor, right upstairs, and it was weird because you were allowed to wander all over the house. They had deep pile carpets, and the woman whose house it was, she looked unusual, but she had this amazing daughter, and I was trying to work something out. And I was just saying how weird it was, this party, going, yeah, everyone here's from the 80s, it's freaking me out. I think I was on the phone to you, it's freaking me out, it's weird. Right, and then the door opened, and Chris Eubank put his head out and sort of looked round. What is it mental? What's going on here? Managed to chat someone up though, as I remember.
Do you think this was real, or was this one of you were probably just twitching on the sofa?
No, it genuinely happened, and I successfully pulled someone.
Eubank!
Checkers!
Did you go for a ride in
Checkers, play pop, Checkers! By God, he weed the bed that night. That's one of the worst nights in Checkers history. Checkers drinks cough mixture.
Can't say that.
He did drink cough mixture.
I know, he admitted it, didn't he?
Yeah, he admitted it on Richard and Judy, all with a sort of a quiet dignity. Yeah, you know, I used to drink cough mixture. Cough mixture. What do you want? Some cough mixture? Cough mixture. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, but you can get high on it, can't you?
Yeah, you mustn't have that one that's got morphine up
now.
the top of it. Yeah, they make you shake the bottle before you take it. Don't do drugs. Good, I'm having to say that increasingly frequently. I better go to an NA meeting. Right, so, what are we on about? We're on about something,
Well,
Matthew.
you were going to get Bannatyne on the phone.
Right. We've got a shot of
Talking about
Hillgrove.
Philip Salon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Philip Salon, yeah, he took me to that party. He used to take place. He's interesting. He'd take you off to sort of...
He introduced you to that stupid place you bought all your food from for a year.
What was that?
Tinsel Tits, or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah, Tinseltown, the late night cafe, where I went there with young Kelly, with Rod Stewart's daughter. Kimberly. Oh, yeah, I went there with...
Kelly?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, but Philip Salon took you there, and you thought it was the bee's knees.
Didn't you like it?
Really?
I liked it. It was open all the time.
It's open all night.
Tinseltown.
Every meal from there.
Yeah, Tinseltown, and it's called Tinseltown. It's glamorous, it sounds. Although, admittedly, yeah, the food was tripe. But, you know, it's nice to be able to eat at 4 o'clock in the morning when you've got that sort of lifestyle. It's not my thing anymore. Come on, we've better play a record. What are we going to play, Matthew?
Woolly Bully.
What? Because I'm wearing that woolly cardigan?
Well,
Is that how that's even got in?
Making me think of it.
Right, alright, so that cardigan's cool. Okay, so, right, later on, Peggy Gallagher, Duncan, Bannatyne, what else have we got to do? Have we got anything else? Christoph, oh yeah, someone's going to come back and help us look after our fish properly.
Can you pitch the vibro sock to Bannatyne?
Yes.
That's your idea.
No, I'm going to say it's your idea,
Okay.
unless he likes it. Now, Matt invented a vibro sock. Stick a phone in your sock; it'll wake you up. It's a ridiculous invention.
I don't think you can patent it. It hasn't got enough.
It's not got enough originality or invention, has it?
It's basically a sock.
So basically a sock, yeah. It's like, you know, just trying to patent the idea of bending down and stuffing something into your sock. It's ridiculous. Okay, then this is what we're going to listen to. Woolly Bully.
Yeah.
Righto.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Why would you write a song called Woolly Bully? What's like going to inspire that?
I don't know. It must be something sexual.
Do you think so? Yeah, because a lot of those things, my ding-a-ling and all that in them days, they were forever trying to euphemise sex, weren't they? Because it was a bit more, in those days, conformity
More
reigned a little
innocent
more.
days.
More innocent times. Perhaps times, Matthew, that we were rather too willing to let go of in our overly pure...
A man who's come here in some sort of kinky sex pants.
I know, like, they're uncomfortable. It's bothered me all day.
They don't look... They're too small for you.
Really? What do
Yeah.
you mean, restrictive?
Yes.
I like it when you're mature and grown up about things like that. So, okay, so this resolution between the Hillgrove and Bannatyne conflict is getting draws ever closer.
Can you stop doing that?
I ain't been well. It's my diet. Right.
You're on the radio, you're on the BBC. I hope people can hear that. I hope that gets in the papers.
No!
I hope that drags you down.
Don't drag me
I hope
down!
that, well, the word for you, instead of oddball, becomes flatulent.
Randy!
Stand there in your expensive designer clothes, a cardigan that looks like a fisherman would chuck it in the sea. 500 quid for a cardigan. You stand there grunting and wheezing. Dirty old buffalo.
Stop it, 'cause you've made me cough now, and nothing to do with a radio
You're choking
programme.
on your own fumes, mate.
I like 'em. I would
That
get
red light's gone on behind you.
Why? So what?
That's some sort of smoke alarm's gonna go off.
That means radio's happening, that red light. You should know that by now. Come along. Come, we've got to concentrate because Bannatyne is a tough-talking
Okay, it's just hard to
Glaswegian.
see in here now.
It's the wrong attitude, Matthew. You're supposed to support me in these situations. You're meant to alleviate pressure, not make things worse. Right, now, oi, Mikey, if you've got Duncan Bannatyne on the blower. Okay then, well, like, as you know, there's been a dispute between Richard Hillgrove and Duncan Bannatyne, to some degree evoked, in fact entirely evoked by my impression of Duncan Bannatyne on air while Richard Hillgrove was on our programme. As his PR man, many would argue, and I'd say chief among those would be Duncan Bannatyne, that he ought to have been protected by the man who controls his image. Let's now talk to Duncan Bannatyne. Duncan, are you there?
I'm here, Russell. I've never heard such absolute rubbish in my life.
I know, and listen, all them inventions
I've
you've
never
heard.
heard your impression.
Right.
Nothing to do with the fact that it's an I-Party company, and Richard knows that.
Really? What? Okay, what is behind this this parting of the ways then? This cleft?
Very, very simple. A month ago, I had the good fortune to sign with a new agent, Curtis and Brown, who are looking after all my television work as well as my literary work. As you know, my book is one of the top sellers, the top-selling business book for the last 15 weeks.
Is that book any good? Because, like, can you really teach people how to become a millionaire, or is it just sort of graft, intuition, that sort of stuff?
I'm not teaching how to become millionaires. I'm teaching how to make 100 million. There's a big difference. And in the book, I've had about 700 emails from people who are very happy that they're now inspired and are now going to make a lot of money.
What, they're using your book to make themselves millionaires?
You should get a cut.
Absolutely, yes.
It's a
Anyone can do it.
It's a
Anyone
shame
can make
Richard
100 million.
Hillgrove didn't read that book, because he's blundered massively, hasn't he?
It didn't blunder. It just happened. I needed a good literary agent because, you know, I've got loads of people looking to do my second book. I've actually had an offer for the next 4 books. And I needed a literary agent who and most literary agents do television as well. So I had to come with Richard. It was as simple as that. Richard knows that.
Simple decision. So you think perhaps Richard Hillgrove's trying to get himself publicity out of this situation? He wears that cowboy hat. He's obviously some sort of vain egomaniac. He's using this situation to garner publicity, do you think, Duncan?
You said it, Russell.
Really? We're going to have firm words with him. Is it then the case, Duncan, that you would never consider working with cowboy Richard Hillgrove again?
No, I wouldn't say that. I enjoyed working with Richard. He was very good. He got me a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
It just happens that my career's taken a slightly different direction now.
Duncan, is it true you want to do some acting?
No, I stopped acting about 2 years ago. I did summer school at RADA, and I've been in about 8 films, small parts. But I stopped 2 years. I'm too busy now doing television stuff and writing books and travelling the world and spending time with my children.
You got a feverish sort of ambition, ain't you, Duncan?
What do you mean a feverish ambition?
Well, it seemed like, you know, you acting, writing books, ice cream vans.
Yeah.
You're like an unstoppable force.
I just like to fill my life, you know what I mean? I just like to get on with it and do a lot of things.
Did you like our answer phone messages that me and Noel Gallagher left you?
Yes, I did. Yes, it was fantastic. I've saved them. I'll keep them for posterity. Fantastic.
Ah, good. What about, how come you oared that sea captain into the ocean?
Well, that was 40 years ago. You know, I'm very old. You know.
Oh, really? I had no idea. So what happened? Why did you do it?
He was annoying me.
He's trying to just keep things ship-shape, Duncan.
No, he wasn't. He was drunk, actually, and he was with his girlfriend, and he was showing off.
That's no way to run a boat.
There's no way to run a boat at all, and he put me in the chest with his torch, so if you do it again, I'm throwing you off the side, and he did it again, so that was it.
Did he drown?
No, he didn't drown. If he drowned, I'd have probably been done for murder and spent a lot of time in prison.
Murder. That sounded good. It sounded like an episode of Taggart when you said that.
Murder.
Murder. I'd have been done for murdering him. In cold blood. What was he doing with a bird on his boat? What was he?
They were having an officers' party on board, and I was coming up the gangway after I'd spent about 5 days out camping.
Sounds a bit bloody unprofessional on your boat. Sounds like a Fish Fingers advert. All children on there, people camping, people bringing their birds.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it?
Who was it? Uncle Albert? It's a ridiculous way. Hey, Duncan, okay, so have you got any... Because we were really rather hoping to get some reconciliation between you and cowboy Richard Hillgrove. Can we get used to... Like, if you're not going to go back with him, and I suspect you're not, and I don't blame you, because the way he handles his clients, he's like some sort of drunken cavalier. But, like, perhaps you could at least inform him on air to bring about some sort of peaceful conclusion to this matter.
Well, Richard knows that there was nothing to conclude. There was no problem. There was no issue. He knows exactly why I had to sign with a new agent.
Also, it might give you more opportunities to plug your book, Duncan. Come on, think about it from a cold-hearted businessman perspective.
Well, I think that Richard should realise that the book I wrote, Anyone Can Do It, by Duncan Bannatyne, 1899, all good bookstop.
Look at him, good at plugging things. I've got a bloody bookie book. Here, if we arrange a PR stunt... Duncan, if we hire a barge on the Thames and get Richard Hillgrove on it in his cowboy hat and a scuba diving suit, will you be prepared to hoy him into the sea?
Unless he has a sign that says, Anyone Can Do It, by Duncan Bannatyne, 1899, all good bookshops.
Anyone can do it? That undermines your achievements a little bit. If anyone can do it.
I've achieved nothing. Anyone can make £100 million. Anyone can build a business. Anyone can employ thousands of people. It's so easy.
It's not, mate. It's hard work, even to do anything. Getting up in the morning's a drag.
Is it?
Of course it is, Duncan, for Christ's sake. Life is always trying to weigh you down. Maybe for a man like you.
I saw much you were drinking at the Comet Relief Party, mate. I was there. I was watching you drinking like a fish.
That was water. I'd had to drink for 4 years. I'll go berserk, Duncan. Duncan, thank you very much for your time and for your, you know, we'll have a look at that book. We'll have a look at it and we'll come to our own conclusions about it, but I'm sure it's brilliant. It's been intriguing talking to you.
And to you, Russell.
We're going to get you... Oh, God, before you go, my mate Matt, who does this radio show with me, now, obviously, your life must be made up of people either squeezing your bum, poking you in the chest, or coming up to you and going, oh, I've got an invention. Well, my mate Matt's got an invention.
It only happens 4 times a day.
Right, well, here's the fifth, right? My mate Matt's got this thing called a vibro sock. He thinks it'll be good for waking up nurses. I've got better ways of waking up nurses. But Matt reckons what you could do is have a sock with a pocket in it, and they put their vibrating, phone in there, phone, into the sock. That wakes them up without troubling their partner. What do you think? Do you think we could run with it, Duncan?
I think, Russell, you've probably got a better idea that you don't want to mention on air.
Crikey, you saucy devil, Duncan. You've got a hell of a libido. Right, so Duncan, we want to get you back because we want you to tell Richard in person because he's in a pub in the countryside with a gay icon now, drinking himself to death. So we're going to give you a ring back in half an hour before he goes out like Janis Joplin. I'll talk to you in a little bit, Duncan.
Okay, cheers, Russell.
There he goes, old Duncan Bannatyne. What? He's a
Sexualise my vibro sock.
How dare he sexualise your vibro sock?
It was an innocent sock.
It was, wasn't it? One of the great inventions. Now he's turned into a discarded sock that a fella's used because he can't reach out for some other form of cloth. Right, okay, we're going to have a little listen to a record. I see now that Mr. Nibs is back. He's clutching fish food in his little fist, and he's brought back the woman from the tropical fish shop who is disconcertingly attractive. Let's have a listen to a record. Hard Day's Night, the Beatles. Jane's here from the tropical fish shop round the corner. She's been brought back by Mr. Nib. She looks like she's been traumatised on the short journey. Probably had his clammy little 18-year-old nimble fingers skirting up and down her spine. Are you all right there, Jane? In fact, come over here onto my microphone. Now, you can see Christoph, our fish, in that cliché of a bowl over there. Yeah. Do you think that he looks all right? You have to speak quite close to that microphone, which I know puts you in my proximity, and you've probably heard the rumours, but you're quite safe. Now,
right.
Do you think he looks all right?
He's perked up from yesterday, yeah.
Well, you saw him yesterday?
Yeah, I brought him I brought the bowl round
Oh,
yesterday.
you're the responsible. Oh, well, thank you very much for bringing that bowl and revealing that our show is pre-recorded, but that was inevitably going to come out at some point. Now, okay, so Christoph does look all right to you.
He does look like he's, can I say, spazzing out a little bit?
I think that's politically incorrect, but we're going to let it pass because we're not responsible for what you say. Now, what is it that, why does he keep having that trail coming out the back of him? Is that good?
It's not. It's poo from bad water quality.
Bad quality water? Oh, right, so we shouldn't just have him in tap water?
We treated the water before we
What
put
did
him
you
in there.
shower? What do you mean, you put a chemical in it?
Yeah, it takes out the chlorine and the nastiness from tap water.
So why is he still doing a big string of whoopsie?
I think he's been kept badly in the past.
At last show that we did, he's been kept badly. Well, that's true, because the woman who had him before wanted to kill him, phoned us up, asking for ways to kill a fish. We said, we'll look after it. Now, there's just one other inquiry. When I was a lad, I had two goldfish. Now, one of them used to do that string out the back of him, then the other one would nosh it off. Is that natural, or is that an offence to God?
It is natural.
It's natural, they always do that.
It's tasty, probably.
Oh, Jane! All right, Jane's going to stay with us a little while to give us more advice on
She
the.
said it's tasty.
Probably, yeah.
That's not why I work in the shop.
Yeah, she was a woman who was drawn to an aquarium for tasty daytime snacks. Okay, we're going to have a little bit of newsy poos now. This is 88 to 91 FM, Radio 2 from the BBC.
And here is the news now at 10 o'clock. This is Andrea Simmons.
Online, on digital, and on 88 to 91 FM. BBC Radio 2. Russell Brand.
Eaton Rifles, The Jam, this is Russell Brand on Radio 2. I'd like to dedicate that, if I may, to Andrea Simmons, who it appears we've upset, Matthew, because of your constant chiding and agitation of her.
You saying it would be under the desk.
I would like to be under the desk. It's not just Andrea Simmons, it's just like, I like that idea with a news
Don't
lady.
even make her feel special.
I got it off of Moira Stewart, Jan Leeming, Sue Lawley, all them lot, from when I was a kid. Just used to think I'd like to be under that desk. I don't know what I was thinking about that. I should have just been getting on with eating me alphabet spaghetti or something, but, you know, I was just, you know...
How do you know she's upset?
Mikey, the producer, just told me that we've upset her because on our last show, I think it was, said she was a lesbian. Or it was you or me. Now, let's not get bogged down.
Not me.
Let's not bicker and argue over that.
I pulled you up on it, actually.
Did you? Well, well, remember, we did say, who cares if you are a lesbian or not? You know, we weren't using it like that. We've just been all cheeky and daft and everything. But as they pointed out in the production side of our programme show, they go, she ain't got the right to reply because she, like, we say all these things about her, like, oh yeah, it's Andrea Simmons, she's doing the news. Imagine her just in her knickers. Right? We say stuff like that, and then she has to go, there's been a massacre.
Right. Putting her in a difficult
Puts her in a
situation.
difficult position, and also she ain't got the right to reply because she can't go, look, you piss off.
Okay. I'm not in my knickers and I'm not a lesbian. There's been a massacre. Yeah, bad then.
The situation in the Middle East has been exacerbated. Clear off, Brand, you twerp. It'll look bad. So
Let's treat her with dignity and respect.
All right then. I wanna get freaky with you. That's for you, Andrea. No, I really like her, but I just, you know, it's, our way of coping with the world is to be idiots. I've always thought.
Your way.
My way. All right, my way of coping with the world, be idiot. Right, now, we've got a lot of problems on our hands here, not least Christoph the fish, who's swimming around like a proper little prat. Jane's still here, she's the expert from the tropical fish shop. Now, how much dinner have we got to give him?
Tiny pinch.
A tiny pinch of dinner?
Will he
Do on
die
my
if he
arm how
overeats?
tiny it should be, the pinch. You flirty little cow, you didn't have to do that. Right, right, so we just give him a tiny little pinch of fish food. Incidentally, both Jane, the fish food the fish shop girl, and Matt Morgan go that they like the stink of that fish food, which is revolting.
Nice. It smells like that Thai stuff, that fish sauce, Thai fish sauce.
Well, there's probably some corollary there, and I frankly am disgusted and appalled by that connection. Now, what is that next to... Right, Mr. Nibbs is basically in charge of that fish, except for the rest of the week when it's Wogan's jurisdiction. Wogan, O'Leary. These are the fish ambassadors, in my view. What is for the care of that fish? What? Just give it a tiny pinch. What's that little thing that looks like eye drops? Sellotape to the bottle.
It makes tap water safe.
Makes tap water safe.
Yeah.
Cool. What for us as well?
So children can drink tap water,
but fish can't. What's going on?
Fish have to live in it.
Are you saying, Jane, that a fish is... In fact, you should be on the microphone for this. Are you saying, Jane... Come over here, you soppy sod. Are you saying, Jane, that a fish is more important than a child? Is
in my eyes, yes.
Basically, that's what she's saying.
You can't love a fish, you can't take it for a walk.
It doesn't do anything. They're cold, indifferent. Are you a bit unusual? Because I've seen that tattoo on your leg and it leads me to think you might be unusual.
I just don't like children. Come on.
That's unusual. You can't say that. You're a woman. That's against your key ethos. So, mind you, who are we to judge? Now, right, okay, so basically we know how to look after that fish now, so there's no reason for you to be here, Jane, other than in your capacity as a bit of a dolly bird. Fancy sticking around, love? How about it?
That's an offer I can't refuse.
She can't refuse. Look at that, see? Well, there we go. Matt?
Won't your boss miss you?
Yeah.
Probably. He's probably crying into his tea now.
We might cry into one of the fish tanks, spice up their lives a little bit. Right, okay, Jane, you sit down now, because the proximity puts me right off my job. Now, so Bannatyne and Hillgrove are going to come on the show in a bit and sort their lives out together. That's nice.
Same time they're going to converse.
Yeah, the two of them. Now, a little while ago, look at Mr. Nibs right in the background. He just like
that's too big a pinch.
He held up a pinch like that, like it was snuff, and then and showed it to Jane, like to say, "Is this the right amount to give the fishy?"
He also rubbed it on his gums.
Why did you rub it on your gums,
New York
Nibsy?
drug cop.
Yeah, what's your name? DC Rizzo or something? Some New York narc cop. Okay, right, so Matthew, I don't know if you recall, or you, the dear listener, recalls, but a few weeks ago we talked about Braille pornography. We're learning more about it now. This is David from Birmingham. Following on from your straw, but I think he means story, about Playboy and Braille, I used to work in a pub in Birmingham where we had a regular customer called Blind Dave. He used to pay a monthly subscription to receive audiobooks, and each week would bring in all his mail for me to read for him. One week he bought in some of his audiobooks, and it was hardcore porn, stuff like Lesbian Bride and Gangbang the Return. Maybe you should try and get hold of it and play it on the show.
Lesbian
no, Dave.
Bride? Why'd she get married?
Yeah, she's a lesbian. That's oppressive. She shouldn't have to do that, mind you. These days you can. So maybe she's a bride of... Unless... Hold on. She's probably got married, but she's still a lesbian, and, like, behind her husband's back, she carries on with the...
But you're only a bride on your wedding day. You're not a bride forever, are you? Then you're a wife.
Interesting. Yeah, you are only a bride for a brief 24-hour period. I imagine, Matt, that the plot of Lesbian Bride is something like this. A wedding happens, and on that wedding day you see that lesbian bride...
With the,
copping off with the bridesmaids, maybe like the in-laws, groom's mother.
That'd be a bit...
You like stuff like that, don't you?
Yeah.
Good lad.
I like mixed-age lesbians.
You like
porn.
mixed? Well, there's Matt Morgan there for you.
Hang on, these are the audio books of porn.
For blind porn.
That can't be. I mean, you're just. I suppose.
No, it's all right. It's the same principles ringing up those phone lines.
It's read by Tom Baker.
Hello. I think Nana Moon reads most audio.
I know. Go on. Do your impression.
Alfie, I'm a lesbian bride, Alfie. This wedding's a sham, Alfie. Lift up me bridal frock and peer up my spile. Oh no, that's childish. What happened then was childish. I apologise for it. Jane, the tropical fish shop girl, has just been sick into her handbag. Matt, what are we going to listen to, mate?
The Cure.
Yeah, what song though? You know, they done plenty. What
Lullaby, is that a bit slow?
Might be a bit slow. Let's listen to something a bit more upbeat.
Let's have a little look at...
Being upbeat is one of the key components of this show. Hey, we've not spoken to any people that, like, you know, like humans, like that we know, or like regular. Well, I mean,
talking about?
Say we want to help someone or something. Let's see if we can help.
We don't help people anymore.
We've stopped helping others. We used to be such kindly fellas. This is the information on how to look after a goldfish. It just looks like absolute lies. Murky yellow water, Fred's lifeless body, Rachel, Flopsy. I've got an odd scar. What is this? My dad explained. Oh my God! This woman left Jif in the bowl when she was washing out her fish bowl, and it killed Flopsy.
I bet
fish.
she left it in a sort of... Oh no, I've left some
Just you tortured them farm animals as a child, Matthew. That is not natural behaviour. I'll tell you what else ain't natural behaviour. Me, when I was 7, right? going right into the toilet with some Jif, spraying that
No,
Jif
don't. I know
round
the story.
toilet,
Russell,
and
that's
going
not,
to my
no, it's
mum.
weird. It's weird. It's weird.
All right, okay,
It's weird.
fair enough. Right, fair
And
enough.
for me to actually stop you that enthusiastically and energetically,
Yeah, it
think
must be
how
weird.
that
it
is,
must be.
people.
All right, that's what we're going to listen to while we leave that odd idea lingering in the air
We're
like
gonna
one of my
listen to
gases.
Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones.
Why
We've
not?
only played old music so far.
I know, let's play something modern in
I
a
can't
minute.
find it.
Just play Satisfaction first. Stop floundering the
All
Cure
right.
of the Stones. Go on, put it on.
Bank Holiday Monday on BBC.
I cannot get any satisfaction, because otherwise it's a double negative and you're getting some satisfaction, and I get smug satisfaction out of pointing that out. Guess what's going on in the world now, Matthew, right? Hillgrove, Richard Hillgrove, erstwhile former PR man of Duncan Bannatyne, has just come on the phone. He's been necking Red Bulls, other high energy drinks are available, and he's got himself all sort of jeckled up, all stiff as a grifter, going, yeah, put me on the phone. Bannatyne said what? What he said what? Right, get me on the phone now, get him on the
That's
phone.
how he talks.
Oh, how's he talk?
It's sort of an Australian lilt.
Is he Australian? He has got some sort of lilt, hasn't he? What is that lilt? What
know. He's a
where is
backwoodsman.
lilt? I've moved out of that world. Lilt's no longer relevant to me. Does it still even exist?
You snob.
What?
Don't look at me as your envoy on earth.
Do you still have lilt?
You still have lilt down there, you poor fools. Does the lilt man still come round?
I drink monkey blood. Good evening. Hillgrove, anyway, this is our brilliant new idea. Richard Hillgrove's all worked up. So what we're going to do is get Richard Hillgrove on, get him to have really spout off, go about Bannatyne, going, Bannatyne.
Don't big it up, because what if he comes on and he's all sort of calmed down?
Yeah, because then we're going to have Duncan Bannatyne listening without telling Hillgrove. And then they will go, what do you think of that, Bannatyne? He'll go, hey, show me to him, I'll hurl him in the bloody sea. So like, potentially we could have an explosive situation. It'll be like Holmes v Hagler. It might not work out, but we'll try and engineer some sort of conflict. Matthew, I don't know if you remember that last week I was saying about when I was enraged about those tampon lectures that went on that I weren't allowed to go in, nor was any boy.
Yes,
remember
I
me
do
going on
remember
about
that.
it? What came up as part of that conversation was boy bands coming around to schools, and you disputed that this happened, and even went as far as to say it was an episode of Degrassi Junior High. Well, I happen to have evidence, hard evidence, in my hands and trousers that these things did happen. This is from Paul Stanley from Stratford. I can remember that East 17 played at my daughter's high school back in the late 80s. Paul Stanley from Stratford. Mind you, East 17 was really near where he lived, so that might have been an assembly or something, for all I know. Walthamstow is near Stratford.
Really? So, what was his name, the guy who ran himself over?
Brian Harvey. It's really hard to run yourself over. You've got to, in the end, you've got to credit that lad.
Yeah, how did he do it? So he must have fallen out the door and then got run over by
Not
the
only
back
did he
wheels.
reverse his car, he reversed time to earlier on when he was in his driveway getting his milk or something.
Yeah, the paradox.
Yeah, he created a paradox there. Mind you, I did get run over by a car I was in once, and that's because I was in the taxi and I'd got myself into a right silly mood going, oh, come on, look, will you take me? Like, I goes to the driver, I was in a bad mood, and I goes, can you take me via a cash point, please? And then he went out of his way to a cash point. Right, goes, no, like, take me to one en route. Right, I got all angry about it, and like, there was a queue outside this cash point, and like, to demonstrate how much of a hurry I was in, I got out of the cab while the cab was still moving, and the cab, like, sort of drove, like, my foot was on the floor, and the back wheels of the cab drove on my foot, and it was only going really slowly, and the cab stopped on my foot. So this man that I just shouted at was now in charge of a cab that was on my foot. And I was going, the cab's on my foot! The cab's on my foot! And then I had to reverse the cab off my foot, and all the queue of people at the cash point saw me. I goes, well, I'm not going to that cash point now! Those people have seen me humiliated! And then I just had to go and find another cash point, so it shows.
It doesn't hurt as much as you'd think, does it, having a car on your foot?
Well, I mean, the weight's not that, it's the friction that's bad. I mean, there was also the embarrassment of having a car on your foot after you just shouted. It made me realise don't ever be rude, because you might get a car on your foot. Not always.
What a lie.
No, it did. That's why.
And from that day on, I've only ever been rude 19 times a day.
I've really cut down
And
on
my foot's very swollen.
I can scarce walk. Yeah, I'm not rude that often.
You know, when you're a kid and people say don't get run over, I used to think it was because you'd end up flat. You know, like,
So, like in a
cartoons. Yeah, I didn't think it was because the car would go poof and hit you. I thought it would go over you and
Yeah.
you'd come out the back of it flat.
Your mind was full of junk when you was a kid, thinking that a draft was a giraffe.
It sounds very similar.
Your brain was full of junk. Peter Andre played at my school before he was famous, says Richard Jones. Who knows if he calls himself the Chubby Dick. That's what he calls himself.
That's what he calls himself now? Oh, well, not Peter Andre.
Not Peter Andre. Although I met him, we met him.
The Chubby Dick.
All right, there. Okay, mate. I like him.
Arcady?
Arcady, I don't say that, darling. I like him. I think he's really nice. Boy band singers do come to school because when Busted were famous, they came to Camp Hill in Birmingham. So there you are.
Right.
And I know a girl was having Lil Chris at their school, says a girl called Helen Moxley.
That's not good education,
Of course
surely.
it's not.
Ross did come to my school. But...
You've been to a boys' school!
Yes.
Sir, could we please have Bros? We're all very keen Bros heads. I've got Grosh bottle tops on my shoes.
No, it was because the Radio 1 Roadshow thing came to us.
Oh, the Radio 1. I can't
those crazy
remember. I bet you were well into it, weren't you?
No.
Bros. You remembered the name of Craig Logan the other day.
Who's that?
Come on, he's the third member of Bros, the brown-haired one.
There was 3 of them.
Everyone forgot. You love Bros, don't you?
No, I
bet you
not.
stayed liking them even when they...
I bet you liked them.
Yeah, I did actually.
I bet you had a little gold stud in your ear.
I had the bottle tops on my shoes.
Grosh bottle tops.
Yeah, it was really brilliant. I don't know what I was thinking. I got swept up in hype. I've always been susceptible to hype.
But whenever I
like
see childhood photos of you, you look like one of the monsters. Photo of you with a leather jacket on, all sort of quiffed up.
I was fat, wasn't I, then?
You weren't fat.
I look like a monster.
You just looked like... You actually did look like the
Eddie
bloke out of
Munster.
Hardy High. Spark.
Sounded like Ted Bovis. What, like Teddy Boy?
Well, you look sort of... I don't know, there's a picture of you as some sort of weird bother boy character, isn't there?
Yeah, that's when I joined this extras agency. All extra agencies all seem to be running out of East London, Leytonstone, and they're normally run by, like, gay men in cravats, and you'd go around their house and they'd go, like... I remember,
Is this all based on one experience?
2.
No, that's all right, I'll let you
Hanging, twice as that one, hanging moles on his neck, one of them had, and like...
What?
Like, you know, sort of moles.
That's cruel.
They were a close relative of the lemmings, so they were suicidal
They
anyway.
had a rabbit crucified on his bottom.
There were mice being pilloried between his toes. He was a rodent crucifixion centre. So this fella, he, like, you go there to be judged, he goes, oh, you're like a young Cliff Richard, aren't you? Let's take a photograph of you up against this wall. I was glad my back was against the wall by the end of it. The whole experience could have turned very fruity.
I bet you went through a lot of things like that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was always doing it.
Who was driving that?
What do you mean?
Well, who was saying, come on, let's take you here? Was it your
My
mum
ambition.
or was it you?
Me. From when I was
You?
like, yeah. After I'd done Bugs and Rome, when I was 15, I thought, hello, this is the way out. Right. And from then on, it was like, I couldn't get enough poncing around. Right, come on, let's listen to what we're supposed to be doing. Right, we're going to get Bannatyne and Richard on the phone. We're going to get Richard Hillgrove, cowboy agent of stars.
Hillgrove up.
Get him spouting off, and we'll have Bannatyne listening. Right, and then we'll let them see if they go at each other like bees in a jar. I don't know, something like that. Right, let's, what are we going to listen to?
Strokes.
Yeah, let's listen to Strokes. Why not? Cheer us up. Strokes there last night. Guess what? This is the first bit of fan mail, that little twit Mr. Nibbs has got now. Look, hello Russell and Matt. Heard you talking about Euro Disney and the foam-headed characters and querying whether or not the Queen of Hearts at Euro Disney has a foam head. Well, let me tell you, she does. It's massive and it's really scary and it wobbles when she walks. I was at Euro Disney last summer, saw her hit a photographer before running up the street after him in a blind rage, and she's really abusive. Best wishes, Tish. Hello, could you please say hello to my good friend Caitlin, who loves the show and loves Mr. Nibbs. Loves Mr. Nibbs.
Love is such a strong word.
A very powerful, potent force, Matt. Men have gone crazy for love. Mountains have been moved. Wars declared for love. And someone feels that emotion for that git Nibbs sat over there. It just doesn't make sense. Now, we have been trying to achieve some sort of reconciliation between Bannatyne and Richard Hillgrove. Duncan Bannatyne, the king of the Dragon's Den, many have called him. Entrepreneur, now we know actor, author, he'll probably mention that at some point if we talk to him again later on the show. Now, Richard Hillgrove, on learning of Bannatyne's denial of Richard Hillgrove's version of events, now, Hillgrove, he's heard of that. He's proper miffed and peeved about it. We've got Richard Hillgrove on the phone. He's been necking a sugary drink. He's out of his box on Glee and glucose. Hello, Hillgrove. You all right, mate?
Russell, I'm not taking this lying down. I know I was very quiet and dejected and all stately. I was playing it that way before because I thought that was good.
Yeah, well, that's good. You are a PR expert, aren't you?
Exactly, but not when I'm hearing this sort of stuff coming out of the mouth of Mr. Bannatyne.
Right, yeah, he was coating you off saying, rotten, mate. He's saying you was a right little poofter.
I've moved on to a different stage in my life.
You've moved on to another stage of your life?
We got hold of that guy after Series 1 of Dragon's Den, and no one even knew who any of these business people were. We made him the household name he is today.
Well, let me tell you now, he's towering above you like a colossus with his naked genitalia swinging in your face.
So we're at Comic Relief with Duncan looking after him, making sure he's all right, making sure he's got some drinks, sitting him down, putting him on
Have
stage.
you got some drinks? Do you want to sit down? You're making him sound like an octogenarian.
On the Saturday, I say, Duncan, you won't believe this, you're going to be on the Russell Brand show. Texted him, he comes back with, wow, W-O-W, I'll be listening to that.
Why are you spelling out wow for? We know how wow's spelt, you know. All right.
Makes an impact. There's an exclamation mark there as well.
He even exclaimed that. He exclaimed that.
I don't even hear anything else back. Nothing else back other than a sacking on the Monday.
A sacking on a Monday, then
I hear from various sources, people that know him. He's very mispleased with the way he was worded.
What have you been drinking? Was there anything in that? Mispleased ain't a word. What have you been drinking in that Red Bull? Right, Noel? Are you drugging yourself something silly, Hillgrove? Are you alright, mate?
No, I'm absolutely fine. I'm fuming, though, because you gave him a platform. I think he promoted his book as well, so he's now a self-promotional expert.
He is a self-promotional expert. He's probably learned that from you. Richard, I think it's probably best that you talk to Duncan yourself on air. Let's see if we can achieve that reconciliation. Can we get Duncan now? Is Duncan here now? Duncan, are you there?
I'm here, yeah. I'm here, Russell. How are you doing?
I'm very well.
How are you?
Oh, there you are. Duncan, Richard, yes, say hello to each other. Now, don't be tentative about it like ex-lovers. Let's just, you know... Oh, you're looking well, Duncan. You're looking well, Richard.
Came from Russell because, as Richard well knows, I can prove this by email proof. He's still in a notice period with me, so he's actually still acting for me. So I'm amazed, actually, about how he's carrying on.
Really? Well, what do you say to that, Richard? Duncan is amazed by your behaviour.
He's saying I should have been delighted by him.
He's saying that he's surprised by your current conduct, Richard, and I imagine that you're wearing cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, and nothing else.
Not a lasso. But the thing is, it would be nice to know in advance of a 2.5-year relationship that it's not Russell Brand that ends it for you.
Tell me about it, mate. That's the story of my life. All my relationships end because of my conduct. Now, listen, all right, so you sound a little bit actually hurt, Richard. Duncan, I think you've hurt Richard.
I'll be hurt after the 18th of April. Because we're actually still Duncan's agents up until that date.
I suspect, why don't you go on a campaign of black propaganda, peddling things like Duncan Bannatyne seen in a kindergarten in stockings?
Good idea.
You could push that. Duncan,
Duncan, we will take you back.
Duncan, he's offered to take you back, Duncan. What do you say?
Richard and Russell, as you know, I've signed with a new agent, and the main reason for signing with a new agent is because it's a literary agent and television agent, and I'm very, very pleased with them.
And you did it on the Monday.
Now, I had a separate literary agent, a separate ghostwriter, a separate television agent, put them all into one now, and everyone else, all the other 5 people that for me, of all okay, Duncan, it's great. They're bound out gracefully, and they've all for the time I had with them, and they've all wished me the best of luck apart from Richard.
Okay, listen, so it seems to me, Richard, that you've been hurt emotionally by this situation and that you feel that Duncan's not been entirely honest with you. Is that true, Richard?
That's what people have been saying.
That's what people have been saying. Right, well, that's very difficult. But the two of you are together...
Well, name the people.
Richard, who are these people? Who are these...
I can't disclose the people on the show. Duncan knows who they are.
Right, okay.
I have no idea who they are. I've no idea who they are, so I think they're a figment of Richard's imagination. They're hidden under his hat.
Duncan, what do you say to Richard's claim that when he found that when he started representing you, you were a penniless chimney sweep scurrying around for coins in the gutter?
That's perfectly true, absolutely, yes. You can read that in my book. Anyone can do it, but Duncan Bannatyne, 1890 or bookshops.
He's promoting the book again, Richard! You said you were going to hit him if he done that!
He doesn't need me. This is why he doesn't need me, because he's doing it for himself.
Oh.
Anyone can do it.
Duncan, do you think Richard was a great help to your career, in all honesty and fairness?
Yes, he was a terrific help, and I've always recommended him. Actually, I recommended him to two people who now use him. One, my good friend for many, many years.
Stephen Seagal.
And Gary McCausland both use Richard because I recommended him to them, so I cannot understand his attitude.
What, Richard, why have you got this attitude? What's the matter?
Attitude, it's a New Zealand thing.
Is it because of New
We like
Zealand?
to know, we like to be informed, you know what I mean? And hearing about it.
You didn't, right, that's it. Why didn't you inform him, Dunk?
I did.
We're at your wedding, Duncan. We're in the wedding pictures as your management, and the first thing we hear about it is on the Monday after the Russell Brand show. We hear that you're displeased with all the comments.
Is this
totally untrue. I never heard the Russell Brand show. It was nothing to do with the Russell Brand show.
It was a bloody good show.
I heard it, and it was a bloody good
Available
show.
at 18.99.
I have no problem with people taking the mickey out of me. It happens to me all the time, and I love it. I take the mickey out of people.
No problem with
Russell
you,
is very
Russell, it's all right.
self-sufficient, and so am I. I have no problem with it at all. There was nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Okay, listen, you guys, wouldn't it be nice just for a little moment to think about the good times that you've had together, and just perhaps just for a moment, just listen to this and reflect on better times. Listen, I want to play this to you two guys. Stay on the line. This is to both of you. Bannatyne, Bannatyne, Bannatyne. This is to you, Duncan, from Richard. Why can't you listen? It sounds like you're basically good kids and you love each other.
Really.
Why? What have you let come between you? It's about money. Now, if anyone truly can do it, 18.99, then why the hell don't you two just get back together? I tell you why.
I think it's a communication issue.
I think it's communication. I think it's
I think the reason is to buy a copy map and read it.
I think that what it is there's massive sexual tension between the two of you. I think the pair of you should get yourselves down to a sauna, oil yourselves up, and work it out physically.
Is it a sauna you would recommend, Russell?
Yeah, why not? I'd recommend anything. Okay, so listen, then, gents. It seems to me that there are irreconcilable differences between the pair of you, and
It's not personal, Russell. It's just what I need to do to move on.
It seems to be personal to dear Richard. Richard, have you took it personally, dear?
Not in the slightest. It's all about money.
All about money.
That's good.
Okay, well, Richard, we're going to find you some more clients by the end of this show. Honestly, Duncan, you will strive and thrive anywhere in the world. I'm just worried about you, Richard, because you do...
Good luck, Duncan.
We
wish you well.
Thank you very much, Richard.
That sounded bitter.
All your stuff will be in a box outside the offices.
All my stars are telling me to say this.
You sound like you're about to throw all of Duncan Bannatyne's books out of your window in bin bags.
It's the third Red Bull.
Oh, it sent you crazy. Other drinks are available. Richard, thank you for your time. Duncan, thank you as well. Sorry we couldn't get them two kids back together. I wanted nothing more than to see those two happy, but sometimes they have to work for themselves. That's the way I see it. Should we have a little listen to something?
Yes.
Let's not listen to Baby Come Back.
No.
Have you heard enough of it?
I think so.
For one lifetime. I still like it as a song. Let's listen to, what would you want to listen to, Mafu?
You can't touch this by MC Hammer seems to be in there.
Put that on. That's it. I mean, it is, after all, approaching Hammer time.
You can't touch this. Yo, sound the bell. School is in.
We went a bit mad. We went mad we went mad there. I don't know why we put that on. That's not.
I don't know why that's even in there.
Why is it there? I think we just lost control for a bit then, didn't we? I think it was because of Bannatyne and Richard. There were some mad moments during that. I enjoyed it, but
I don't understand how they're so unprofessional.
It's odd, isn't it? How's he raised all that money? It sounds like Bannatyne spent his life just like knocking out Mr. Whippies, throwing sailors off the edge of boats. You know, he's on the edge. Richard Hillgrove, who's meant to be a premier PR agent.
If I was his client, I'd take a long, hard look at myself.
Yeah.
I think, hang on, he might phone up a radio show drunk from a pub.
Start coating me off.
Just as Yosemite Sam and start, yeah.
Bit I liked when I was going, I didn't listen to the Russell Brand show. You came on the Russell Brand show and you did these things. I don't like the Russell Brand show. Just like it sounded weird to hear it objectified because we don't really say Russell Brand show except like at the top of it and stuff like that. Just sounded weird, didn't it? But it's affected me and you, Max. We had to listen to a bit of Can't Touch This because we panicked.
I know.
Right.
It sort of queued itself up as well.
Did it? Like, sort of ghostly. He's turned to God now, MC Hammer.
Well, maybe
so
that's
perhaps
why.
that's what
Maybe
it is.
It'll pervade all shows.
Perhaps now MC Hammer's going to use the Lord to propagate more of his music, and why wouldn't he use God in such a fashion? Okay, right, let's think of some things to do now, because we've resolved, as far as I'm concerned, we've gone as far as we can with Bannatyne and Hillgrove, haven't we? Let's put that idea to bed now, so now we need a new adventure to get on. And we still ain't done that bloody ice cream van. Get us an ice cream van! Where is it?
We can't sort that out.
We can't sort out ice cream. Oh, we just had Bannatyne on the phone. He's got all them ice cream vans. We can't ring him up again after that chaos, can we? And go, yeah, have you got any of your old ice cream vans
Do you
left?
think he's phoned Richard now?
Do you want to call us
Richard?
Richard? I'm sorry about that. No, I don't reckon so. I reckon both of them have gone on, like, really turned on by that conversation, really having a go at their wives. Like, big stags. Because remember when that cowboy bloke, Richard Hillgrove, came in here with his wife? She was fit, I thought.
It was alright, yeah.
Yeah, she had something about her as well. And what I mean by that is she was too bleeding good for... No, I like it. Yeah, I like that Richard Hillgrove. He's a sweetheart, isn't he? Right, so, okay then. Right, let's put on some music we actually want to listen to. And then we'll work out a new adventure or campaign to get on. I don't think the Chinese have left Tibet yet. That's still hanging in the air, Matt. Yeah, I know.
How's the fish doing?
Fish is dead. No, it's fine. The fish is alright. He's fit as a fiddle. Come on, let's get this. But what are you going to listen to, mate?
Sexy boy.
Yeah.
For Nibs.
Mr. Nibs, you are 18 years old. You're on the precipice of manhood. I can see you blooming with every day. You're like the young Jeff Cape sat there in that chair. That's why we want to play this record for you and for all people, young men particularly, with burgeoning sexuality within them. Be unafraid of these forces within you. Express them freely. Sexy boy, that's for you, young Mr. Nibs, and for all sexy boys everywhere. Listen to Russell Brand on Radio 2. Yeah, like, don't you turn your nose up at me, Matt Moore. It's because I'm not comfortable in these pants. I shouldn't have worn them. It's like, they were like tights.
I'm not comfortable with your hand down your pants.
And I'm sure you're not. Well, no one's happy then. Good.
Why did you get up and think... You cleared out some
cool covers
under your bed.
Cleared out because of my moving, and because of that, I kept coming
when
across
you say
these
that,
things.
does that mean there's people employed to do it?
Yes. Like, well, they're not employed to do that, but like
I've
Lynn,
been packing, I've been moving stuff around.
Moving stuff. Lynn, who's like looks after me at home, makes me some dinner, and looks after me and that.
She puts your bib on.
Puts my bib on, makes sure I don't do no drop-ins. She's, helping me pack and everything. Because I work every hour, God sends. How do you think I managed to...
No, you are one of the hardest working men in show business.
I'm one of the hardest working men in show business. Do you remember we did a competition, actually, Matt, ages ago, to get rid of these pants? Look at them. Someone sent us these lovely pants with emblazoned upon them is Shagger of the Year, an award I
wear them then.
Won sometime.
But don't change your ear, please.
What? Because you don't want to... Yeah, I know. These. It's just these current pants I'm wearing are ghastly. We were supposed to give those to someone. We should probably give them to someone who sent... Not the woman who gave us our fish, because she seems like she was, she was capable of killing that fish.
Well, apparently, an expert said he's had a life of abuse.
Yeah, hasn't he? That poor lad. He's like a fish called it. That poor bit, that fellow, what struggled all his life. Yeah, hold on, I've got something important to go on about. So, yeah, so, right, hold on. I'm moving out of my house. That's weird that we're moving at the same time. This is the last night I'm going to sleep in. In fact, I've had the last night in my house.
Oh, so have I.
That's mental.
On the same day?
April Fool's Day. Yeah, because I'm now staying in a hotel because I'm filming the St Trinian's thing, right? So I'm staying in a hotel in Henley. Then I'm going straight from there to Hollywood.
Wow. So has all the work been done on your new house?
No, it's going to take another couple of weeks. It takes bloody ages to get your house done up. It's really annoying.
Yeah, because you went in there and asked to change things that didn't need changing.
Yeah.
Widen the doorways.
Widen the doorways! Those doors are too narrow! Make 'em higher! Yeah, but it's nice in there. It will be nice in there when it's all done.
Why do you want wide doorways?
I don't
You're
know.
going to grow a big moustache or something?
Yes, I want to look like a circus strongman. That's going to be my new image. I just fancied it, because otherwise it makes everything seem too little.
Was that just a control freak thing to do?
I think it might have been, yeah.
I like it. Widen the doorways.
Widen the door!
I want a diving board on the roof.
Yeah, stuff like that just makes me feel in control of stuff. Right, so listen, shall I try and ring Noel Gallagher now then? Hold on, let's try and ring him. See if he's in. firstly. I done a good gig last night. Where was I? Ipswich. Good, there it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's been going well. I'm in Dartford tonight, your hometown.
Yep.
Lots of Matt's family are coming, which means I can't say any of the things I'd normally say about Matt's vile conduct as a younger man.
No.
It's pretty restrictive, actually, because it does... Alright, Noel, are you okay?
Yeah, call us on my mobile's at work, mate. Call us on the landline.
Alright, I'll call you on the landline. On radio, is it right to call you on radio?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'm in my where am I in the country?
Country Park. Alright, we'll call you there. Alright, talk to you in a bit, Noel. What have you got in your mouth?
Chewing gum.
It's all stuffed into the corner of your gob like Augustus Gloop. Big cheek full of food. Some daft, greedy toddler. Noel Gallagher's on the phone. Hello, Noel.
Alright, Ross.
Oh, mate, you sound delicate. Are you alright?
I'm alright today. I was a bit,
drunk.
I talked to you yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah, on the last show that we recorded, you were a little bit drunk. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I was a bit rough last night, but feel alright. But I was drunk yesterday, on the last time we spoke, yeah, I was a bit...
Yeah, you had a lot, like, sort of, like, I remember I spoke to you sort of after the phone, after the show, I don't know if you recall, and you sort of were going, oh no, I sounded like well, you actually said you were a Daily Mail writer at one point, and and Sarah...
Sarah, when I put the phone down, I was kind of laughing, and she said, you just come across as a madman.
Just trying to protect you from yourself.
Yeah, so then I called you back and I said, was that a bit mad? And you went, no, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't see anything wrong with what you said.
Anyway, I've not had any phone calls this morning, so...
No, I think you've done okay.
Plummeting, or, you know, people thought it was alright.
#1 podcast in the country, Noel. You can't argue.
Ricky Gervais isn't doing anything, Russell.
No, he is. He is doing stuff.
Oh, is he?
Yes, we've overtook Gervais. Have we really? Or was that a mistake or a lie? Let's look at people. Like, we just looked at the people, the producers and that. They just literally
whistling and looking out a window.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on.
Because I was up in Manchester and I spoke to you. We give my mum a lift back down here because she's come down here for the weekend. There was a story in one of the tabloids that you were going up to Manchester to stay at her house for the weekend.
I read that. And,
you did that?
Yeah, it was in the Star, I think, Mel.
Well, the best line was that you'd been told by Liam to keep your hands to yourself.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I mean, the Daily Star, I mean, surely they cannot even begin to believe that something like that is true.
It's ridiculous. I don't think that they believe that it's true at all. Yeah, it says...
Like someone will go, oh, what, is that a Daily Star? Yeah, well, I've got a story for you, right? You know, like Russell Brand, he's going up to Manchester to stay with the Gallagher's mums, but Liam's got the right needle because he's wandering ends.
Wandering ends and we're groping. Ma Gallagher, she's a bag of nerves about it. Liam said, you try it, I'll stripe you. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
No, the thing is, my mum was looking forward to it.
Oh, I'll go and stay with your mum.
Yeah, she's here, actually.
She's in?
Yeah, she was waiting for you.
All right, I'll talk to her. Shall I say hello?
She had the car on here, I want to say hello to you, mum.
Oh, him talking to his mum. It was like he was a little boy then. That was nice. I'll say hello to your mum. Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Hi.
Hello there, Mrs. Gallagher. It's me, Russell. Are you all right?
I'm fine. I was expecting you the other day.
Well, perhaps I should, because that paper in the Daily Star was an absolute contrivance, but in an odd way, perhaps I should come and stay with you.
I thought I had my two nephews out painting the fence before I seen the paper at all, and afterwards when I seen the paper I thought, oh, but I bet the neighbours think, oh, she's cleaning up the place for us and Brand.
Yeah, I reckon they probably will, and quite rightly as well. I mean, it's like a visiting dignitary in a way. Here, I'd like to come. What sort of house rules are there? Would I be allowed to bring a girl?
Best behaviour.
Yeah, I'd be no trouble. You'd hardly know I was there. Did you read in the story? It said that Liam had said that, hands off.
Keep your hands off my mum.
Yeah, honestly, I'll be good as gold. You won't know I'm there. You won't hear any creaky floorboards in the night. Like I'm a secret lemonade drinker trying to scuttle into your chamber.
And they put the lovely picture of you on the top. You looked really nice with your girlfriend, and the horrible picture of Liam at the bottom, like as if he was ready to strangle you.
Yeah, it did. They did use that picture. Yeah. When he's at home, is Liam much more of a gentle soul?
No, he's not. He's never a gentle soul, Russell, at all.
Oh, God.
Liam at all.
He's always got that. He's always got that kind of, he's got a certain something about him, hasn't he?
Like as if you could wring your neck sometimes.
Yeah, I worry about that. When I bump into him, I worry about it, I do.
Do you?
May I call you Peggy, Mrs. Gallagher?
You can do, yeah.
I worries about it sometimes because, because he's got that he's got a very certain energy. Like, Noel, of course, he still seems tough, but like Liam, he does seem much more like he's close to a fight pretty much all the time.
He's all right. His bark is worse than his bite.
It's good, because I can handle barking, but biting sort of unnerves me a little bit.
That's it.
Here, bringing him up, Peggy. Who Who was it? Can I just ask you one more question before you go? Who was more trouble, like, to bring up?
Well, you can guess, can't you?
It's Liam.
Liam.
Noel was basically a good lad, was he?
Noel was very quiet.
Oh.
But the other one, once he arrived at all, he was troubled.
Really? He just turned up, came straight out of the womb.
Let you know he was there. As soon as I took a look at him, I thought, oh God, here he is. He let you know he was there.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, thank you for that insight into the characters of your lovely sons.
Okay, Russell,
Cheers.
I'll put you back to Noel.
Thanks, Peggy.
Nice
Thank you very
to
much.
meet you.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Right, seems like it's going to work out well. Noel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get on well with your mum. I think I'm going to come round.
You can make sweet music, can't you?
Why not? Especially now the fence has been painted. It sounds like the place is ship-shape. I'll get round.
Hey, you don't get any more of a compliment than that.
You really don't. People...
Russell's going out, get that fence painted.
That's lovely. Yeah, I'm very proud, to tell you the truth. Now, so there's only 2 more minutes left of this radio programme, Noel, because I'd just dreamed up a brilliant item. I thought, like, with your tendencies, I thought it would be good. Right, perhaps next time we talk to you on the show, let's do a thing where we think of, let's get Noel Gallagher's views on really controversial subjects, because then we can fill the tabloids for a week. We'll just say, oh, what do you think about immigration, Noel? Oh, what do you think about murderers and what should happen to them? What do you think about the war in Iraq? And then you can just, like, say stuff. Write the tabloids for a week. Be helpful, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Noel, will you talk to us on our next show, please, and do our new item? Noel Gallagher says controversial things that shouldn't be broadcast.
What we're going to call it, Noel puts foot in mouth.
Yeah, Noel Gallagher's foot in mouth item. We'll call it something like that. Yeah, let's do that. Right, Noel, can we go now? Because this radio show's about to end, and I know you always make me feel bad when I try and end conversations, but can we ring you back in about an hour because we're doing another radio show?
Yeah.
Noel, thank you very much for your call. It was lovely to talk to your mum, and if I do go and visit her, I promise I'll be good as gold.
Let me know how that fence looks if you ever up there.
Yeah, no, I will do. Actually, thinking about it, I might try and chat your mum up, because I like the idea of being you and Liam's stepdad. and giving you boys a severe ticking off for some of your antics.
Oh, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
It will be good. Noel, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you on the next show.
See you in a bit.
See you, mate. Ta-da, bye-bye. Right, okay, almost time for this show to end, but what kind of a show would it be if our poet laureate Mr. G didn't summarise the show? That's why we've got a poet, frankly. Okay, here he is.
Okay, this one's called Space, the final frontier. As we reach the edge of madness, transmitted right here. Right where? Right here, on Radio 2 loud and clear. These are the voyages of the starship Brand as they appear. To boldly go to where no man has gone before, with tight pants cutting off his circulation, causing blow-offs galore. Set to explore as we search for the bride of Christoph, our resident goldfish helping Matt to pitch his list of vibro socks, and making puppet socks to Duncan to see exactly what he thinks. The last guy who tried that a while ago got thrown into the drink. With the cowboy on the brink of a mental showdown, its pistols drawn at dawn for the essential showdown. Hopefully after this we'll all have careers, selling ice cream lost in space, the final frontier.
Mr. G there, poetry! By jingo, his poems are from the future. They'll be loving that stuff on Neptune. It's brilliant to her. It were cosmic, literally. So, okay then, right. Now, we will be back next week. It's going to be another fantastic show. It's pre-recorded, of course. I'll be off in Hawaii then. Andrea Simmons, I'm very sorry I've been childish. I offer you love. I was only doing it. Yeah, Matt's sorry as well. We're all very sorry because of the childishness. It will never happen again. Oh, let's say something nice to Andrea Simmons then. Right.
You're a very good newsreader, and you always coped very well.
You coped very well with our childish pranks. We've been very, very naughty.
And I always loved you.
G there, never, ever attempted to say anything scurrilous or untoward. 88 to 91 FM, this is the news, Radio 2 BBC.
Russell, here's the news now at 11 o'clock. This is Andrea Simmons.